apologizing for crying. I've never understood it. Why humans say sorry for crying. Crying is the most natural thing in the world. It's often the first thing we do when we're born. We take a big deep breath and we burst into tears. It's amazing how deep thoughts of I need to apologize for my nature, for my natural emotional reactions to things. I really wonder why people apologize for crying. And it, in the work I do, people cry a lot, and there's always oh, I'm sorry for crying, and oh, I'm sorry for, and it's like, no, don't be sorry. Your tears are release, and they're healing. And they are unburdening some old program or emotions in your system. So somebody needs to hear that. You don't need to apologize for crying. I'm going to read some cards. Oh. But I think I'll make that in a separate video. So if you need to cry, cry. And notice when the discomfort, because you've been socially conditioned to reject that very pure, innocent part of yourself, that inner child. That I'm not talking crocodile tears here. I'm talking real, genuine emotion coming up, whether it's because you're in the cinema and you're watching something that moves you or touches your heart, or whether it's you're sharing something and it brings up an uncomfortable feeling or sadness in you. Please just notice how you've been trained and conditioned to apologize for that. And I would suggest that you challenge that apology in yourself and just be like, I'm just having a human moment right now. And I think it's truly an act of self-love when you can authentically be yourself, and if you're crying, and that's it. It is what it is. And not feel embarrassed. Really, if we look deeper into it, it's that perhaps you feel embarrassed because it's triggering some childhood past memory. Maybe your father said, oh, I'll give you something to cry about, stop crying. Like I've heard that a few times with people saying, I've trained myself not to cry. And then I had a client who just couldn't cry. She said she probably hadn't cried in 25 years, which is a real block. Like, that's not good. I don't think that's healthy. And I challenged her to allow and embrace when it comes up, to allow those tears to move something through her system. Tears are cleansing. They're healthy. They're natural when they come from an authentic place. And hopefully we can allow ourselves to be more human and to be more authentic, and to know that we can support each other, and people who freak out when people cry, that's just as bad as the person apologizing, because it's basically saying, oh, I can't cope with humanity. I can't cope with you being real. I'm rejecting you taking your mask off and actually being vulnerable with me. So I think there's a real fear in human beings at vulnerability in general, and allowing others to see our rawness. And when we are vulnerable, because we've been trained that don't show that to anybody, it's too raw, And I think as high sensitives, that's something that we can relate to, where, you know, we were told, put that sensitive heart away. So we had to shut it down. So maybe this is something you're exploring. I encourage you to start off gentle and slow, but, you know, if you need a good cry, a great way to stimulate it is watch a weepy film, or watch a true story, or read a book that allows you to tap into your own feelings around a similar subject or experience. Like you could read a book with somebody who maybe had a similar childhood as you, or something like that. Because what's interesting is, in film therapy, I find this fascinating, people will often cry for the character who's been abused or tortured, or who's depressed, or who's going through a breakup or whatever. We often find it easier to cry for someone outside of ourselves, and we allow compassion for someone else, a character in a film or a book, or maybe a real person. But like, it's easier for us to have empathy and understanding and patience and compassion for someone else quicker than we do for ourselves. Now that really is a sign of where humanity's at. So this self-love project of humanity in the world, we've got a lot of work to do. You know, we're still trying to crack that nut open. But just allow yourself to feel, because your feeling connects you to your soul, and your emotions, the energy behind that, it does open and connect you to the heart, and the heart connects you to the soul. So it's important to keep all those things open and moving and connected, especially at this time. Thank you for sharing this food for the soul moment with me. The light in me, as always, recognizes the light in you.